Hello, today's topic is Embrace Imperfection, the art of letting go. It's so easy to get caught up in the chaos of modern living, and with society's relentless pursuit of perfection, it's even easier to feel like you're falling short. Whether it's the flawless bodies on Instagram, the high expectations at work, or the pressure to maintain picture-perfect relationships, the message is clear. You're not enough unless you're perfect. But what if I told you there is a different way to live a life that is not defined by unrealistic standards but by authenticity, joy, and self-acceptance? That's what we'll talk about today. Join me in this journey as we explore the power of embracing imperfection and the art of letting go. The idea that we need to be perfect is everywhere. Take a look at any magazine cover, scroll through social media feeds, or listen to popular self-help gurus and you'll hear the same message over and over again. Be the best version of yourself, achieve your goals, be successful. While these messages may seem harmless on the surface, they can have a detrimental effect on our mental health and overall well-being. We constantly compare ourselves to others, whether it's our income, appearance, or success. And when we fall short, we feel anxious, depressed, or have low self-esteem. But here's the truth. What we see on social media or hear in motivational speeches is often just a highlight reel. A carefully curated version of reality that leaves out the struggles, the setbacks, and the real-life imperfections. So why do we continue to buy into this myth of perfection? Why do we put ourselves through the emotional turmoil of constantly striving for something that's unattainable? One reason is that we want to be happy. We believe that if we had the perfect job, the perfect body, or the perfect relationship, then we would finally be content. But this couldn't be further from the truth. Happiness doesn't come from external circumstances, it comes from within. We can be homeless or have everything we ever wanted. But without inner peace, we will never truly be happy. Another reason we chase perfection is because we want to be accepted. We want to be loved and valued by others, and we think that if we could just be perfect, then people would finally accept us. But again, this is just not true. We can be the most successful or attractive people in the world. But if we don't have genuine connections with others, we will always feel empty inside. What if instead of chasing perfection, we embraced our imperfections? What if we learned to love and accept ourselves for who we are? When we embrace imperfection, we become more authentic. We stop pretending to be someone else and start being our true selves. When we let go of the need for perfection, we free ourselves from the shackles of unrealistic expectations and the constant fear of failure. This doesn't mean that we stop trying or that we give up on our dreams. It simply means that we learn to accept ourselves and our flaws and that we treat ourselves with kindness and compassion. Embracing imperfection allows us to be vulnerable, and it is in our vulnerability that we find our strength. When we show up as our authentic selves, we open ourselves up to the possibility of deeper connections with others, and it is in these connections that we find our true power. Here's the truth. No one is perfect. Not you, not me, not anyone you know. We all have flaws and imperfections that make us who we are, and it is in our flaws that we find our beauty and our strength. Imagine a world where you are free from the need to be perfect. A world where you can embrace your imperfections and still feel loved and accepted. A world where you can be vulnerable and still feel connected to others. That world exists, and it starts with you. Here's how to let go of the need for perfection and embrace your imperfections. 1. Identify your perfectionistic tendencies. The first step to letting go is to become aware of your perfectionistic tendencies. What are the areas of your life where you feel the need to be perfect? Is it your work, your relationships, or your appearance? Once you've identified these areas, you can start to challenge the perfectionistic thoughts that come up in those situations. 2. Develop strategies for managing stress and anxiety. When we feel the need to be perfect, we often experience stress and anxiety. Developing healthy coping mechanisms for these feelings is essential. This can include things like taking deep breaths, going for a walk, or talking to a trusted friend or therapist. 3. Practice self-compassion and forgiveness. When you make a mistake, be kind to yourself. Everyone makes mistakes. It's part of being human. Instead of beating yourself up over your flaws, learn to forgive yourself and move on. 4. Self-acceptance. Self-acceptance is the key to letting go of the need for perfection. When you accept yourself for who you are, you free yourself from the burden of trying to be someone else. You allow yourself to be vulnerable and authentic, and that's where your true power lies. When we stop chasing perfection, we open ourselves up to the possibility of deeper connections with others. We become more authentic and genuine, and it is in our authenticity that we find our strength. I want you to close your eyes for a moment and imagine the perfect life. What does it look like? Where do you see yourself? Who is around you? Take a few deep breaths and let this vision of perfection fill your mind. Now I want you to ask yourself, does this vision of perfection bring you joy? Does it make you feel happy and fulfilled? Or does it just leave you feeling inadequate and stressed out? The truth is that chasing perfection is a never-ending cycle. We can never truly be perfect, and when we focus on the things that we perceive as wrong or flawed, we only create more unhappiness for ourselves. What if instead of chasing perfection, we focused on acceptance? What if we learned to appreciate the things that make us unique, including our flaws? When we embrace who we are, we free ourselves from the burden of trying to be someone else. We allow ourselves to be vulnerable and authentic, and it is in our authenticity that we find our true power. It's time to stop chasing perfection and start embracing imperfection. It's time to stop comparing ourselves to others and start celebrating what makes us unique. It is time to stop striving for an unattainable ideal and start living a life that is true to who we are. You are enough just as you are. You don't need to be perfect to be loved, accepted, and valued. You don't need to have the perfect job, the perfect body, or the perfect relationship. You just need to be yourself, and in being yourself, you will find your true happiness and fulfillment. If you're struggling to accept yourself, know that you're not alone. Many of us struggle with this, but it's a journey worth taking. It's a journey towards authenticity, towards vulnerability, and towards true freedom. And remember, it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to fall short of expectations. What matters most is that you learn from your mistakes and keep moving forward. You are imperfect, and that's what makes you beautiful. I challenge you today to identify one area of your life where you are striving for perfection and where you have been holding yourself up to unrealistic standards. It could be your work, your relationships, your appearance, or anything else that you feel is important to you. Next, I want you to visualize what it would be like to let go of the need for perfection in that area of your life. How would it feel to embrace your flaws and accept yourself for who you are? Can you see how this could lead to more joy, more happiness, and more fulfillment in your life? If so, I encourage you to take action. Let go of the need for perfection and embrace your imperfection. Start by setting realistic expectations for yourself. Be kind to yourself when you make a mistake and celebrate your accomplishments, no matter how small they may seem. Remember, progress is not perfection. Progress is progress. I also encourage you to seek support from others. Talk to your friends and family about your struggles with perfectionism and ask for their help and encouragement. You can also consider talking to a therapist or counselor who can provide you with additional support and guidance. As you begin to embrace your imperfections, I want you to pay attention to how it makes you feel. Do you feel more confident, more joyful, or more fulfilled? As you continue to practice self-acceptance and self-compassion, you will likely notice these positive changes in your life. I would love to hear your thoughts on this topic. Have you struggled with the need for perfection in your life? If so, what steps have you taken to embrace your imperfections and find true freedom? Please share your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with others. Subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. And as always, remember to be kind to yourself and accept yourself for who you are.